how difficult is it for you every time this come up, that you have to reconfront what you went through?
For the survivors, it's very traumatizing to hear any new information. A lot of things are very triggering.
And what do you make of what you've heard today?
I'm deeply upset. It wasn't what I was expecting. I'm saddened. I don't really know how to comment on it, except for it's upsetting and very confusing.
Well, clearly the White House has said that the first emails released by the Democrats were deliberately selective and chosen to smear the president. Then we have thousands more released by the Republicans. But as far as you're concerned, is any release of information, progress in what you ultimately want, which is transparency for victims?
Well, of course, every information that's released gets closer to finding out a little bit more of the truth. So we have to go through all of this to figure out what's really going on. So I absolutely believe, it's not easy to hear, and it's not easy to connect the dots, but I think it's very important that, they're being released.
How far from the truth are we?
Very far. I think we're very far from the truth, but we're getting closer. I just think there's a lot that's going to be coming out over the next few months.
So what ultimately do you want to see?
Well, we want to see justice. We're not quite sure what that looks like, and maybe just understanding what's really going on. And what's most important is also just protecting the survivors that names are being released with the information. I think that's the hardest part, is the survivors really understanding the impact that has on them, re-traumatizing them, and making sure the information is correct as well.
I know you spoke out after Virginia Giuffre did. Why did you decide to speak out?
The only reason why I chose to speak out was because of Virginia's story. And I felt like it was important to stand up for her and believe her, because so many people don't believe survivors. That's the number one thing that survivors go through, is that people don't believe them. And I'm here to change that narrative. I'm here to say, no matter how hard it is and how much I have to tell my own story, stories like Virginia's are very, very important. And she was trafficked to many powerful people. That's not okay.
And in terms of your own story, as re-traumatizing as it is, would you mind me asking where you were when you first met Jeffrey Epstein?
I happened to meet Jeffrey on his island. I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't brought on the plane. I was brought by boat from another close island close by. And another young girl brought me, thinking, oh, this is a great guy. He's a mentor. He's done so much for me. He got my visa to work in the United States. She was Eastern European, like so many victims were. And just happened to go with her. I don't believe she was expecting Jeffrey to abuse me that evening. But for some reason, he took a liking to me. During dinner, he got to know me and asked me a lot of questions about my family. And I had actually grown up in England for the first few years of my life. So, he found it interesting. And the conversation went from there to, your ambitions and aspirations and your goals, which made me feel kind of like, oh, special. And I felt safe in his presence.
So are you saying you were abused the first night you met him?
Well, I was there for the entire day on that island. And then after dinner, later on that evening, is when one of the other young girls knocked on the door and said that Jeffrey was ready for his massage. And as you know, this is Jeffrey's M.O. He had massages with the young girls, and the massages turned into assault.
And how did you feel after it?
Well, horrible. I think for months after I blamed myself, wondering like, what did I do wrong, or why did he do that to me? I thought I was the only one. I didn't know at the time the other girls on the island were also victims of the same type of abuse.
I know you have a podcast now speaking to survivors, often about the complexity of abuse, because you did keep in contact with Jeffrey Epstein over subsequent years.
Yes, and I wanted to explain why. A lot of people don't understand why would you go back, but a lot of times it's a grooming process where they reel you in. You know, like, I remember what you said on the island. I can help you out now. You know, these things that when you're a young girl and you're entering the world and building your career, a lot of times people help you and good people help you, and you don't really know the difference between a good person helping you and a bad person that has, you know, evil intentions, so to speak.
And did you ever see Donald Trump in any of those interactions with Jeffrey Epstein?
I've never seen him, no.
There was talk of survivors producing their own list of perpetrators. Is that still possible? And will more people be brought down by this, in your view?
Well, this list that I spoke about on Capitol Hill was a list that myself, a few of the survivors, not all of them, and the attorneys have been compiling over the last few years. So there's a very long list of names that were seen or some of these victims had experiences with. So there's always been a list. I was just trying to put some pressure on the DOJ to say, okay, you're keeping this list hidden and you're not revealing anything to the public, but also remember that we know who's on the list as well. So I think that was a little push to them that I think has been working.
Is the Donald Trump question holding up the release of more information that you and others so desperately want to see?
We desperately want to see more. We desperately want to see the files and the information that's out there. Yes, of course.
Full disclosure?
Full disclosure. We need full transparency of what's going on. Everybody wants that. I do believe the focus is so set on Trump that we're not really getting to the other issues and the other problems, the other perpetrators, the other enablers, because the focus is so on him. So this is what I've been speaking out about for months now, is that we need to know more information about others. But things have come to light now that now I'm just a little confused on, you know, what's really going on.
And are you hopeful that you will get that full transparency? And if so, would that help for you, for closure, for what you went through?
Well, I'm always hopeful. That's what we want. That's what we're working on. And us survivors are working on quite a few things in the background. And I believe that we will start getting more answers. Just a lot of times when things are revealed like this, it kind of throws a monkey wrench in things, right? Because some things are like shocking and we didn't expect what was revealed today to be revealed.